If you guys remember this one better than me, feel free to bring up the result for who won it, but we'll see who's on what side at this point, who's even showed up tonight. I think we're up to only around 90 players, which means it's going to rely a lot more on the shorts, on the small scale tactics of individual players rather than the macro of things, and vehicles will also play a much more vital part. So Blue Fort, that LAV-25, honestly, if they just put it on an Overwatch position and let it snipe people with either an autocannon or a 50 cal, which I'm leaning towards it has a 50. But we'll see how it goes. How do they make the borders on the map? They use a special script, and I don't have access to it, otherwise I would give it to you. All right, so we see Blue 4 down here. Here's the LAV. I'll look on the roster, even though it sometimes is Ron. I already see some members of Pepega down. I see Pierce down. All right. Let's go ahead and look at the mission here. Made by Banks. A rebel group is attacking a U.S. base that are out on, or U.S. enemy, wait. Attacking enemy base while Blue 4 is out on patrol. Okay. So, rebels are attacking a base. Blue 4 is out on patrol. Rebels are going to go up and hit the, U.S. That's fine. Black line leading from end of war spawn is a road. All right. Sector timer is set to higher default. It's 90 seconds instead of 60. All right, cool. I've always thought it was 90, but I guess it is 60 by default. So how ad sector works is Blue 4 have to defend, excuse me, in this case, Blue 4, in general, the defenders have to hold at least one sector or wipe the entire enemy force before the timer ends. The attackers have to either take all 3 sectors or wipe the entire defending force before the 50-minute timer ends. FNF rounds are 15 minutes of safe start to build a plan and set up defenses or set up an assault plan, and then 50 minutes of go in and do the objective. So the rounds are shorter than other PvP events I cover. But they do multiple rounds every week, so usually 3. This is round 1, by the way. Is the prediction up? Because I actually don't see it. Don, you got the prediction? Or am I just blind? But either way, how a sector is taken, in this case for the operation, the attackers, once they enter the sector, if the amount of attackers is greater than the defenders, the 90-second timer, it is up? Yeah, I just don't see it, so I guess I'm not getting the pop-up. That's weird. Oh well, something breaking. What else is new? If the attackers outnumber the defenders in the sector will start being taken. If at any point the attackers lose the number advantage in the sector, the timer stops and is reset. And once the attackers have the number advantage in the sector again, the timer will start counting down. Once the timer has been fully counted down, the sector is taken, and the sector cannot be recaptured by the defenders. Alrighty. So, with all of that explained, let's go ahead and look at our mission variables here. 1 kilometer of view distance, no magnified optics nor NVG equipment. Build points are going to be 150. By default, it's 125, and that lets Blue 4 usually put down 2 or 3 good defense lines. So adding another 25 points to that will help them reinforce that 3rd line. Kawa, welcome to your first stream, buddy. Blue 4 does have mats. Green 4 does not, so the mat team is only going to be 1 round per unit. So usually it's 1 gunner and 2 assistants. So Olaf, he's got that AT, he's under Echo. So he's going to have the weapon, and then Sismo and Muniz are going to be the 2 assistants. So that means that team has 3 AT rounds total. Blue 4 otherwise is going to be your modern American Army multicam camouflage kits. To break down the lingo here, you got your platoon leader, your platoon sergeant, squad leader, team leader. Team leaders have Grenadier, underbarrel grenade launchers, so that's going to either be a 203 or a 320 system. Auto rifleman with the light MG, rifleman assistant with extra ammo. Grenadier IR have the Hunt IR platform, which are 40mm camera grenades you can fire in the air and then use a terminal to interact with it. Cameras can be shot out of the sky and they'll fall down to the ground quicker. Really good for getting your bearings. Machine gunners have the medium machine guns, machine gunner assistance for them. These guys are only in Delta. Combat engineer have the explosives. They have a choice of 4 different boom booms. 4 tripwire mines, 2 being HE, 2 being flare, 3 AT mines, 4 explosive charges or 2 explosive satchels. The charges and satchels you can also turn to throwables. Satchels will always blow up a building if it can be destroyed. Charges are usually for small explosives you throw into compounds to clear them out, but I would always take the satchels over the charges because the charges can be a bit unreliable. Light anti-tank, medium anti-tank, 1 and assistance. 2 and assistance are defunct, same with RA, RAS, and SMP. They're part of a group called X-Ray, which is no longer defunct. However, I have heard a rumor that they might be coming back. I can't confirm it, but I've heard a rumor. Designated Marksman, there's one in Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. Designated Marksman rifle appears to be a Mark 11, which is a 20-round magazine. Actually, I forget if you can full auto or not. I don't think it's only single shot, but 7.62x51 NATO cartridge there. And then you got your crew leads, pilots, and then your medics and your base kit. Loadouts, I know it is news to you, Malin, but I know Malin is one of the admins of FNF, but I've heard a few things from a few people that are tied to that decision-making process that they might be pushing for things to come back, so we'll see. Otherwise, Blue 4 have the M16A4 or an M4A1, a choice between the weapons. M4A1, I think, is the full auto variant of the M16. I'm blanking on that right now, but otherwise you got a Glock 17. 249s are your light machine gun, 240 Golfs are your medium machine gun, so Alpha Bravo Charlie get the 249. Delta's going to get the 240 Golf. Light anti-tank's going to be the M136 and Alpha Bravo and Charlie, and then the MP7 or an M4A1 for any crew that are going to be tied to the LAV. Otherwise, assets are just going to be the LAV-25. Malin, does it have an autocannon or a 50 cal in place of this? Because I would like to know. I think it only has a 50. I'd be surprised if it had the autocannon. You know, I could be wrong about that DM phobia. Again, I always struggle to figure out which one has the burst only and which one has the full auto. But regardless, waiting on Malin to get back on that. The Green 4 guys are your generic camouflage insurgent kits. They've got AKMs or AKSs. Light machine gun's going to be RPK. Medium machine gun's going to be the PKP. LAT is going to be an RPG-7. PP 2000s or AKSs for any crew in aviation. Probably part of the BTR in the MTLB. Crew served weapons is going to be empty. They have a BTR to work with a KPTT turret down here. They have an MTLB with both the 7.62 gun and the additional KPVT turret. 4 off-roads, 1 Jeep Wrangler, 3 Hilux transports, Hilux with a Dishka, and an off-road with an M2. And those all have, you know, ammunition for penetrating into that LAV. Otherwise, looking at the roster here, starting with Blue 4, we got Kiri commanding. Charlotte's going to be the 2IC for the commander there. Arcor leading Alpha, Banks as the medic. No marksman. Wait, no. So Arcor is the marksman. But there's no commander in there, so I assume he's going to be leading because everyone's gathered around him. That's kind of weird. Ash leading Alpha 1 with Major Consuelo, Wheaton, and Tackleberry down. Skippoo, there's no Alpha 2. Interesting. Skippoo's merged everyone in a squad together, so he is leading the entirety of Bravo with Drago, Polish Pepe, Dawodox, Rambo, Jeremy, Sleepy, Halmanaries, Kale, Blam, Arcane, Pygros, and Quebec. Charlie being led by Flux, Michael taking the marksman role, Artisan being the medic, Newton leading Charlie 1 with Pierce, Renly, Nicholas, Puma, and Rodrigue. Kane, Armored Jesus, because he got the slash in his name, leading Charlie 2 with Kane and roster. Delta being led by Norris with Bates as the 2IC, so he has that GL. Schultz as Delta machine gunner. And Deb as a Delta machine gunner. So it looks like they've only taken 2 slots on Delta and formed them up with the entirety of Delta instead of being in Delta 1 or Delta 2 to make just a fire team size element. Then you got Olaf leading Sismo and Muniz. I saw a leadership element here. I think he lagged out and he's reconnecting, but that's going to be your mat team. And then Lolo and Sam are being a dedicated vehicle crew for the LAV. Otherwise, Green 4 is going to be led by Depso with Timek as the 2IC. Steve leading Alpha with Das MG with a marksman rifle. I believe it's going to be an SVD.
Once it's captured. And
that is the case there. Vagrant's going to be the 2IC because he's got that GL, even though he doesn't have the slash in his name. Interesting. And Baron being a rifleman AT because they have a small element in Alpha and they've just merged everyone together. Okay. Pro Hunter being... So I think Vagrant's actually the GP25 gunner that might have the Hunt IR, but we'll see. Pro Hunter leading Bravo with Crazy as the 2IC with the GL. RB being the marksman and Gamer being the medic. Bravo 1 being led by... It doesn't have a leadership, so it falls to the machine gunner. That's Thompson with FIFA, Gogu, Martin, and Solomons. No leadership in Bravo 2, so it's Capta, Savan, and Lurch. Bluck leading Charlie with Pirate Sandwich as the 2IC, Ivno as the marksman, no medic taken. Lolo leading Charlie 1 with Bard, Bob, Kermit, and Wombat and Settler. Charlie 2 being led by Pogo Underscore with Polish Hater Zixme, Autovisky, and Tim Kappa. Nemesis leading Delta with Azariah as the 2IC, Iander Plane, Medic Yanni Finn leading Delta 1 with Whiplash, KB, and Katza, and Nimia. Delta 2 being led by Fireman Finn with Nafs, Puma, Cullis, and Keo. And you got Gamma 2, which is a dedicated vehicle crew with Alexander, Rufy, and Angel. What that shows me is they're going to either crew the MTLB or the BTR, and then take the other vehicle and either give it to Command to utilize, or they're just going to tie it to a squad and let the squad drive it in themselves, which will be interesting to see what they choose. Also a note with Delta being taken by these guys, Scandi usually takes all machine gunner roles with Delta, so we got Whiplash and Cats taking the Delta 1 machine gunner roles. Nafs and I think Cullis are going to take the PKPs and the machine gunner team for Delta 2 as well, because I don't see him with the PKP, but I see it right there. All right. 5 minutes remaining. Last time this AO was done, to my knowledge, Green 4 went around over here and basically attacked through this open area, and it was a little messy, but they eventually got their foot in the door. Now, if I was Blue 4, I would honestly put the LAV, my bad for flashing you there, back here and just field it in as needed, because they have a, God, I fat fingered it again. They have a kilometer of render distance. So from up there, with about, oh, this is actually like halfway in that area. So they can see pretty much up to here from that hilltop. So anything that tries to come in on these objectives, they can pretty much hit from a nice overwatch position right here. And then from here, they can also overwatch that base really well. So, I don't know what to say. I hope they don't keep it in the town because it doesn't have a lot of good sight lines with it. They could also potentially send it to counterattack early on by covering the road. Just literally driving it down the MSR, then looping around the back, and then coming around the other side. And do a rear attack with it, which also wouldn't be a bad call. A little more risky, but with a small scale op like this, honestly, either doing it that way or putting it on a decent overwatch position, those are two really good plays you can do, because there's only, you have a 50-50 of where your attacker is going to come from. And if you don't get him the first time, you're going to get him when he comes back around. But, or you can just put it on Overwatch and, you know, have it play as a static defense weapon and you'll be fine. So, really, it's a no-brainer. But who's commanding Blue 4? Kiri? Kiri should know that. Another thing, Pierce is no longer banned from commanding. He's actually been unbanned for quite a few weeks, so if we see him step up in command, that is why. And I, for one, welcome back our crazy wild card commander. Also, I missed some hydrates, so let me catch up. Let me actually read chat. That is indeed a lot of big words. No autocannon? Yeah, that's what I figured. But even then, the LAV has a scope in and an auto-ranging capability, so it can just be used as a very powerful Overwatch weapon. Or it can literally get behind or in front of the entire convoy and just shred things with the 50 cal. Later mission will have autocannons? Sweet. Someone just tried to connect with the Ron Task Force radio. That's the old TFAR before the dev disappeared and Deadman Miller took over the project and made quote-unquote beta. For 724 wee-woo points on this. Well, Patak, I hope you get it. Otherwise, you'll get your due according to your namesake with, what was it? Klingon? Curse words? But either way. It may not be a lot, broski, but it's what you got. What are you doing? Why? What? So they're creating a frontline firing position for it. That is not the dumbest thing you can do with it. The dumbest thing you can do with it would be like to put it in the town and just, you know, throw it where you need it. But you're doing your dissertation, nice. That's a very, like, here's the logic behind this. This basically means they're gonna lock down this road for any vehicles that come down it for them to take it out, which would be great on an ambush perspective. But when's the last time you saw FNF vehicles actually drive down the road into an AO on the initial assault for that keyhole to be useful? Because don't get me wrong, we do see vehicles use the roads, obviously. But to hit an AO, I think this just shows a lot of wishful thinking on Blue Force side. Because infantry are going to go first. They're going to probably try to hit this position with AT, which is probably going to cause that vehicle to rout. The safest place for it to be is literally over here overwatching. Because look at this. If I were to get literally at the tree level. Look at this. Look at that. And then if you feel you're threatened, you can just back up. Hell, you can even use the LAV to knock these trees down to give yourself more firing arcs. So it's like, if you're going to use it for defense, why not overwatch with it, right? You know, especially since you got all these open areas around it. The only place you can't really overwatch is from that riverbed. Which it's fine, because when they start going to other areas, you can snipe them because you have a freaking LAV. It looks like Green 4 is doing the exact same plan as last time, moving their forces in this way. You've got some forces breaking off into the riverbed down here. You got a scouting force coming on the left side. You've got Blue 4 really dividing their forces here. This is a great hill for Overwatch, mind you. To watch anything that comes on this side. Blue 4 have a paltry defense right here. The only thing I can think of is Blue 4 is trying to divide their forces around right here. So that once they detect where Green 4's main force is coming from, they can pull back and make a new defensive line somewhere. Because this divide of forces, if they actually try to keep it hammered down like that, is going to be really difficult. But here, chat with me. Let's do a head count of how many vehicles actually come down this road and how effective this LAV is at shooting stuff. I'm gonna bet 0 personally. Sparkle, I don't know, but good luck. Alright, so Green 4 have deployed a majority of their forces along the right to go for Sector 3 first. You've got a small team coming around on this side. That is the 4-man fire team of Alpha. I don't think Bravo spotted them coming in. Otherwise, we'd see a lot more heads turn that way. Yeah, they literally rode up the map edge, which is a very smart tactic. And now you got Swola putting explosive traps around here. That is the second misfire I've heard. That time it was with a UGL. I think they're trying to put it up in Huntire in the air, and he had the wrong round inside. This is a really good explosive trap to place, though. Oh, he's put tripwire mines. Here's the thing, though. Do you really need to put tripwire mines down in a position where your LAV is overwatching the entirety of the area? You know what I mean? Seems a little misguided, but yeah, because to get to that position, the LAV is going to shred anything that gets up there. So, yeah, and it does have a zoom-in capability, like I said, so it's just really weird decisions made by Blue 4's defense. Not entirely bad, not entirely to jeopardize their game, compared to OFCRA yesterday, where Blue 4 completely dropped the ball and took one of the easiest, most biased, one-sided matches and threw it out the window. It's just... I can... Look, so on paper, let me put it this way. You put explosives or tripwire mines behind cover, so if the enemy moves up to get behind it immediately, then they can get annihilated by the mines. So, on an ambush, that is perfect. That is implying that the enemy is going to rush in. And I'm going to be honest with you, the only commander that does any sort of real rush plays in FNF is primarily Pierce, and once in a while Curie. But Curie is not doing the rushing, he's doing the defending. Depso I have never seen do a rush, and that might be wrong. He might have done a rush and I just didn't cover it. He might have done a rush last week, and that might be prompting their actions right here today, but usually the commanders will switch up their actions week to week. Righto, Sparkle. Again, maybe Malin. Because otherwise the position of this vehicle doesn't make any sense. It should be better off on Overwatch with someone up here to either spot with them, or like a small 2 or 4 man team with a marksman rifle to also be up here and spot with him, so they can divert this asset to snipe people. But I feel like the explosives, especially tripwires, would have been put much better in the LAV's blind spots to alert the LAV if it's going to be tunnel vision looking down this roadway, if there's action here or here. If I had mines, I would have mined this route coming in. Because on a tactical standpoint, looking at the map, this riverbed is the most obvious area of advance, if I were to make a bet. But it's also the safest, because you don't have anything with really good overwatch to cover this riverbed coming in. And then look at how deep the green is compared to everything around here. Deeper shades of green on a map indicate there's more foliage and more cover, and even more concealment, which means it's going to be harder to look in and defend it compared to these parts, which are more open with more shades of brown than green. Which means you can set up defense lines to easily cover this area, but you probably want mines and supplements to cover that. So they have spotted a hunt IR coming up over here, and they immediately shot that. This is Scandy's approach coming around. So they now know that something's right here, but if they had an LAV covering all the way back here...
I back after collage bunnies, hope I haven't missed much.
They can easily start plinking. They can literally reposition on this hill all the way up to right here. And, I mean, utilize some of these open areas, start sniping people with that 50 cal. And now this LAV is going to have no choice but to retreat or move positions to try to get a shot on these units. And it looks like they're opting to retreat for the moment, but they might stop. Otherwise, Connor, thanks for the 40-month resub. Welcome back from your college assignment. Hope you keep enjoying the operations. And I do hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. And yes, I do agree. I think this position is eventually going to get overran because it's going to be attacked from 3 different ways. But I think that's also part of the point because Blue 4 is separated in 3 different groups. Green 4 Alpha is literally meant to back cap up there. And there's AT. Sam is unconscious from that AT round. There's the follow-up shot. And the vehicle's toast. And now Green 4's chances of winning are a lot higher. That's probably going to cook off in a second, but I don't know why FNF continues to make decisions of putting vehicles on their own in positions where they can't do a lot of work without assistance. Great GL right there. Sam gets out only to be uncon, and he dies. And the really messy part is if this team tries to pull back, you can have Charlie come around and potentially cut them off. So a full encirclement of this position is going to do greatly. And I don't really... You could have put the LAV up here and overwatched that position. Like, there's so many better places that in the plane it could have been done rather than just putting it there and expecting an enemy rush. It makes no sense. Lolo also got out. He's still on fire. But now you see Blue 4 abandoning this position, as I predicted. That's meant to be a place you can pull back from, but they lost the LAV. Now you got machine guns trying to fire in wherever they might see units, but... I don't know. Blue 4 are going to be sacrificed in that position, too, because all the infantry is on Overwatch, so they're just going to hold this hill. And I'm going to be honest, this base is actually not a bad place to defend. What Blue 4 need to do, though, is find a way to capitalize on this open ground. And if they can get Green 4 to come in from this AO up to this hill, these 2 Blue 4 elements can sandwich it. in a kill zone. You're probably also going to see Delta get up on this hill, though, and put pressure on anything that stays down here, though. Green 4 really have a superior positioning at this point. But again, the difficulty is going to be, how does Green 4 get up on this position? I think the secret is going to lie in with the BTR-80 and the MTLB with the KPVT turret, suppressing Blue 4 to allow Green 4 the leeway to actually get up there. I think Blue 4 was handed a very powerful asset to really deny Green 4's advance. I think with the forces here, they would have eventually had to have pulled back, because if this attack continued, Delta would have already been up on that hill, shooting at the LAV. But that's why infantry needed to be around that LAV to overwatch to see that Delta was coming up, so they could then all mount that LAV and pull back, because the LAV is also an APC. But they would have probably been able to get a few snipes on Delta, probably on Bravo as well as they advanced, or found one of the two, if not both of the vehicle assets, and been able to snipe them and deny Green 4 that overwatch support, which would have made that final attack much more difficult and put Blue 4 in a much better position. But because Blue 4 have lost that really powerful asset early on, Green 4 stands at a much better chance now to get up that hill. But this is going to be the most attrition-heavy part of the move-up. What's also going to be critical now for Green 4, is how this four-man team plays out on the rear. Are they going to try to just snipe from the back and pull attention away? Or are they going to actually try to walk in there and do something? I'm going to be honest, though. They should not make a move until Green 4 is ready to start moving up on this hill, until Blue 4 invests everything on trying to stop them. Because that four-man team, if timed right, with some proper smoke pushes, can get in the back and wreak a lot of havoc and allow Green 4 enough time to actually get up, close in CQC, and push in and take that final objective. Right off the bat, I'm seeing another mistake right here. Blue 4 is going to push into this position and try to cover it. Sector 3 now being captured. This is a really tough one. Now, there is this one overwatch point they built right here, but there's this big piece of cover right here that Green 4 has to basically move up on it unmolested. There's just not a lot of cover here to work with. You got some open areas. You can utilize some of these buildings to fire from the windows, but Blue 4 now coming in here last second. It's going to be a costly thing, and now you got Blue 4 shooting at their own guys because there's miscommunication, which to me shows that they might not have been ordered to come here. This might have been a judgment call, or there's not a lot of communication down here. So now that they're being suppressed by their own guys, that's going to slow their push into the town to get in proper defensive positions, giving Green 4 more time to get up on here. And now you got more shots coming in. So the fact we have more shooters doing it now shows me that Blue 4 was not ordered to come down here. That or it's just complete disarray at this point.
Sector 2, that's friendly.
Okay, do you know what I'm looking at, man? How about you worry about your own shit?
I don't mean to sound rude, but when the 2IC comes down and tells you to stop shooting at friendlies, you probably shouldn't take that tone with them, but whatever. Anyway. Round 2 is still round 1 right now. Round 2 will be later. Bart trying to get some flanking shots. We got some good Overwatch pickoffs over here. Gogu just got hit. Now the question is, oh, we have the BTR coming around on Gamma 2 right here. So Delta's going to be doing a lot of Overwatch. That's going to pull these groups' attention away. We see some GLs being fired in. Alpha's making their move. So that's going to freak this group out and allow Delta to get in proper firing positions and start engaging. I wouldn't have made that call just yet. I would have let Delta pull the attention. But this can still work out because this is going to turn everyone around. But those GLs are really raining down on this position quite well. Look at that multi-kill. That is 2 dead, 2 wounded. Oh. That is beautiful. Now you got some more GLs coming down. That was Vagrant putting those in. That was a great call. He's trying to put more GLs down. It's Papega Pirates trying to shoot back. He just ran out because he fired a flare round at him. Steve gets flanked and shot. Here's the thing, this Green 4 group's gonna get annihilated, but now Delta's gonna start shooting into that position as they come out in the open to take care of their wounded. This 3-man group needs to pull back, and now that means that all of this Green 4 force here should be able to push and take this position without any Blue 4 Overwatch suppressing them. Which at least means the fight is even for Green 4. Now, are they gonna be able to take that position? It's anyone's guess, because Blue 4, now that they're not being suppressed by their own dudes, because ironically, Green 4 saved them from that. Now it's an even fight, but Blue 4 have the positions of cover. We do see some smoke grenades being thrown, though. And now you got some suppression going astray. Where's that MTLB? Because I see the 250 Calvics over here. They're trying to provide fire support down in this position. They're plinking at units in the open over here. I think the MTLB, I'm just going to do a quick look. No, so they took a car over there. Yeah, I have no idea. You got Ivno that's come on the rear shooting at Dawidox and Hines there. The issue is Ivno has a marksman rifle. That's a 10-round 7.62 by 5.4. Not really good for CQC like that. But at least his death has alerted these guys that there's gunfire over there. But now you're going to have a smoke push. You got Tim leading. Tries to put some... Oh, a satchel throw! That's going to force them to pull back. Pogo might not know. He gets unconscious because he was at the window and the blast knocked him back. Now you're having it followed up with GLs here. This is pushing Blue 4 to only hold the other side of that little ridge. Ah, got you, Mal. But either way, they still have the MTLB. Tim getting a great shot on this Blue 4 guy who picked up a 249. Now he's taking the high ground. Tim dominating the fight right now. Second satchel going in. Doesn't go far enough. That's enough to make him potentially pull back. We'll see what that satchel's range is. It still gets one. This is why I love satchels. The blasting shock. Hold up. Great grenade throw. Caught in the ridge. Wait, no, it was further back. My bad, but it still knocked over Halinar's. And that's the power of explosives being used on offense. Green 4 dominating Sector 2, and it's actually halfway captured. 45 seconds left. Tim advancing even more now to clean this up. Some great work right here. I think he's trying to shoot at the people up on that ridge because he, excuse me, not the ridge, the tower.
There's a mod to it.
He's calling that out. We're hearing more automatic fire. But it looks like Blue 4 is starting to pull forces back up to that hill. Gogu comes around. He was down earlier. Gets an execution shot on this guy. Grenade thrown in right here. That wounds Halinar's there. You still have these two Blue 4 guys pulling back. Pirate and Wombat pushing that position because they heard that gunfire earlier. Sector 2 officially captured. Halinar's tries to pull back, and he is taken out. And I think they're putting double tapping rounds on him as well. Blam being assaulted, but Gogu is having none of this shit. He's on 5 kills. Shot in the back because
I cleared the bunker.
Drago there, or excuse me, Blam was not paying attention to footsteps. Now he's gonna notice there's physics on him, and there's the double tap. That's his 6th kill. Great job by Gogu there. Hines getting double tapped by Tim Kappa here. These are names I normally don't see perform this well, but my God, they're showing it today. Now you're having Scandy doing a push with assistance from the BTR-80. Suppressing this position as Scandy moves down. You've got Papega on a ridge. It's not Papega. It's some members of Papega in another community trying to stop Green 4's advance, but now Green 4 is going to be able to push up from a separate angle. What I am noticing, though, is numbers-wise, Blue 4 might have enough to still weather this, because a lot of Green 4's numbers were in Delta, and I think they lost a good chunk of their manpower in the previous 2 pushes. Blue 4 also lost a good chunk of manpower, but some of it has still been able to pull back and come along the final sector. So let's take a look at this BTR and see if it's gotten any kills. I doubt it. I stand corrected. 2 kills so far. That BTR is pretty impressive considering they don't have any magnifications on their optics. Ironically, they're shooting at the Matt team, which is now going to potentially try to get up and get a shot on them. They have someone with a Vector 21 rangefinder ready to give that range. And then you got these 2 Blue 4 guys back here, Loadouts and Hines, that might be able to get around and do some flanking on Green 4's rear, as now you're starting to see Green 4 trickle up right here. So you're going to have a pincer maneuver pushing up to this position as the BTR tries to suppress anything coming up. But this could change with the Maz trying to line up a shot. The shot is away, and it's over. Here's the thing, if Green 4 can move up there quick enough, they will be able to eliminate Echo, and that's going to allow the BTR full reign on suppressing. But they're already making this job very difficult. Olaf caught in the reload glitch where he's standing, but I think the BTR just ran out of ammo. At least for its box before it can get another reload, because they say a BTR runs out of ammo in FNF is incredibly rare because it comes with a massive amount. Green 4 is literally within 50 meters of them right now. They need to consider pulling back. Some of these guys have set up a defensive line right here in the meantime. This is buying time for these 2 Blue 4 guys to come up and make a move, though. I don't know. And then you got this rear team right here. It's going to have to pull back because it's watching the far right flank. Matt has completely pulled back to this position. Now you got Green 4 doing this smoke charge, but they seem to be a little separated here. What's interesting, though, is if they get up to CQC, that's going to force Blue 4 to pop all their grenades and eliminate this group. But you got the second group coming up right here, a third group ready to push up. Then you got Pirate back here. He's going to end up stalling these 2 to prevent them from being effective. Double taps by Gogu. He's on 7 kills now. RPG fired over. Goes a little too high, unfortunately. Blue 4 seem to have a lot of guys outside of the sector right now, though, probably because of the GL strikes from earlier. So now we're watching Savan getting blown out by grenades and double tap by grenades, but as I said, the first group coming in is going to drain the grenades of all the defenders. Now you got Scandy starting to push on this position right here. They're also tiered out, though. And Command has driven right up on this position to begin their own assault, which is, at this point, of a single unit. Depso dismounting on the rear to help Scandy's push up. So Timek now pushing in. But you got grenades getting thrown everywhere. Norris, though, really nasty spot right here. And he's able to whip Timek out. Now you got Green 4 starting to encroach. The question is, can Blue 4 hold? All right, so now you're starting to see explosive traps going off to some effect. However, that was right on where Norris was, and that's also created the perfect breach. Wait, no, Norris was a little closer. My bad, I saw the wrong body. Smoke's gonna hide his position really well, though, but also obscure his vision. Grenade's still going back and forth. Settler finds Flux, knocks him out. Ironically, Scandy not really doing much with Delta, but at the same time, that's pinning that group over there. Second half of Green 4 pushing in, but Blue 4 seems to have the edge in this defense. That was an explosive satchel, and that got a kill. Again, very powerful weapons popping satchels in these compounds. You have a charge that just landed at the window there. Norris turned around, firing on, what's his face? That blew up the entire bunker. Flux woke back up, he's pulling back. More Hunt IR rounds being fired. I don't know with these numbers. You got the BTR starting to also push down. It's gonna come down to the CQC. This could go either way at this point. We got one guy flanking around. The rest of the Overwatch elements are starting to push into the compound. That's allowing Delta some free shots here. And some takeouts of anyone trying to push in from the outskirts. I think Green 4 has the numbers. But can they get that full encirclement going? I think Blue 4 still has a decent chance. We still see heavy hitters like Flux and King still alive. And as we just saw, Tim, who was getting a great multi-kill, gets immediately cut down. But Flux runs out of ammo there. And Solomon's double taps. If Blue 4 go 2-1 on an average KD right now, they can still pull through. 4K, you can't say that, buddy. You can't say that. The Twitch gods get mad. Short toss on that grenade. No, it's a charge. Banks might be in trouble. Never mind. Again, that's why I say charges are so unreliable. A satchel would have blown those two buildings out. Attackers are now officially capturing the sector because they have so many people in here. This is going to cause Blue 4 to have to push out and make some pretty critical mistakes. Kane has a 249. He's going to be fighting a PKP. Gavian doesn't turn on him, but Gavian gets the headshot. Settler gets another headshot. Azariah comes around as well. I think this is GG. Look at all the smokes being popped by the BTR to prevent any counterattack from coming in, but no! Blue 4 managed to kill enough Green 4 in a last-second pullback. But Green 4 still have the numbers to commit. Blue 4 have two guys that are still lingering on the outside. I think they're trying to charge in as quickly as they can, but they might be out of stamina at this point. Azariah going down to Major Con. This is 5 versus 4, but Blue 4 have 2 reinforcements along on the way. Whiplash isn't in the sector right now. If he was, the timer would start being counted down. But he's not. There it is. Major Con gets taken out by Yanni. You got 2 more Green 4 out here. Schnuffles gets Yanni. Banks and Capta. Someone else in Blue 4 just went down. Banks goes down after he gets Capta. I think it's over because now it's just Schnuffles. This went really, really close. Whiplash. This is probably going to go to time unless Schnuffles makes an aggressive action here. But he's got Keo and Nafs coming around on his rear. Could be spotted in a second. GL is being fired point blank, taking out some of these buildings. Hold up, you got Dowadox and Hines coming up. Nope, they're going to be stopped. And 30 seconds till that timer's taken. Hines caught in the open. He is knocked out. And I think that's GG. Op will be done in 15 seconds or now. We're waiting for the second double tap. There it is. Green 4 wins by elimination. But with 5 units remaining. Oh man, imagine if Blue 4 actually put that LAV on an Overwatch position and it did what it was supposed to do instead of losing immediately. All it needed was 5 kills on paper by this operation, and they would have won. They would have been able to hold. It's amazing what one asset can do. And the reason it's playing the winner thing twice is because the timer also finished counting down. So Green 4 double wins. No, that does not mean you win double points.